Hey guys, Preston here. Welcome back to another video. Sorry this preview is coming out so late. I got a little busy with, college essays and other crap like that. But hey, I'm getting it out. Definitely late, but it's out, so that's important. It's going to be uploaded late Saturday night, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Real quick, let's see what's going on here. Pittsburgh is a touchdown favorite right now on the spread, and according to the FBI, they have a 67.5% chance to win. Injury-wise, there's some pretty big injury news in favor of the Steelers this week, with the banged-up Eagles team going to be without their top two wide receivers in Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson, as well as one of their top corners in Avonte Maddox. The Steelers will be without starting fullback Derek Watt and backup rotational safety / linebacker Marcus Allen. Both key special teamers, so that's something maybe to keep an eye on. Maybe the Eagles can get some good field position on kick returns and punt returns, which would suck. But Trey Edmonds, the running back who is the brother of Terrell Edmonds, the Steelers safety, is being elevated from the practice squad, and Trey did a very good job on special teams last year for the Steelers and filled in for the fullback role last year with the Steelers as well, with former Steelers fullback Roosevelt Nix missing most of the season last year. So they should be okay. This matchup looks to be a pretty fun one. I think the key matchup is going to be the Steelers' relatively dominant defensive front versus the Eagles' really banged up, kind of rough-looking offensive line. I know that the Eagles generally, they're known for having a really good offensive line, and they have, good guys when they're healthy. I think their offensive line coach does a pretty good job, but it's just the reality that they have, banged up guys trying to play. They got backups in there. There's a lot of chaos kind of going on with that offensive line, and it means the Steelers' defensive front, who's led the league in sacks for like 3 years in a row, should be able to eat Sunday afternoon. I will give the Eagles some credit. They also have a killer defensive front, which they should. They've poured a lot of money into that front four, including adding former Steeler Javon Hargrave recently. But, so they have 17 sacks, I believe, compared to the Steelers' 15. Obviously, the Eagles have an extra game on them. But we'll see. They looked really impressive against the 49ers last week. We'll see what the Steelers' offensive line can do. The Steelers' offensive line is generally considered to be pretty good. I think they were number 10 by Pro Football Focus, which includes the mess all going on with that right side of the offensive line. But they finally have some consistency now. Their front five is completely figured out and set in stone, barring other injuries, which hopefully do not happen, which means filling the wave of Filer, Pouncey, the Castro, and Chucks are basically set in stone. Chakuma Okorafor, who's replaced Zach Banner at right tackle, did very well these past couple weeks, especially in that Texans game. He basically shut down J.J. Watt the entire game, didn't allow a sack or really even any quarterback pressures. We all know about David DeCastro, All-Pro consistently. Pouncey, borderline All-Pro, Pro Bowler. He's been, last year he struggled a little bit. This year he's looked a little better. I'll give him that, but I don't think he's the same Pouncey he was. But overall, I think this is a good offensive line that should be able to at least do a better job against the Eagles front than the Eagles offensive line is expected to do against the Steelers defensive front. That being said, I do think this will be the Steelers' toughest test to date. The Eagles are 1-2-1, but they're a pretty decent team. I think they're starting to work stuff out a little bit, and obviously they've dealt with a crap ton of injuries again, especially to that wide receiver room, which does make it difficult for Carson Wentz to find his wide receivers. I think Dallas Goedert might be out too. Don't hold me to that, but I thought that's what I've heard, which means they'll be relying heavily on Zach Ertz and potentially Greg Ward, a Houston player who I loved at the University of Houston. But yeah, so I think this Eagles offense could struggle out of the gate. Carson Wentz already has 7 interceptions, and this is a Steelers team who the secondary really needs to kind of pick it up. And I think this week is the perfect week for them to kind of break out and remind the world who they are. I mean, the fact that the top receiver you'll be playing is either rookie Jalen Reagor, if he's even healthy enough to play, or like Greg Ward would mean a lot. It means, the secondary really needs to get it together, can make some good moves today. Maybe get a pick or two off Carson Wentz, who has thrown 7 already this season. I think that'd be huge for this defense. The running game, they have a good running back who is going to play in, Miles Sanders, but the Steelers running game, the running defense has been pretty effective so far throughout the year. It'll be interesting to see how the Steelers run on this Eagles front. Like I said, they have a pretty dominant front four, but once you get past them, those linebackers are some of the weakest in the NFL, if we're being honest. The Eagles have debatably one of the worst linebacker rooms in the entire NFL, and you consider the fact that I think it was TJ Edwards, who's one of the starters of the worst unit, is also hurt, which means they're using backups on their already kind of bad unit. It means the Steelers should be able to eat and attack that middle of the field effectively. I think that should be the game plan. Look for the Steelers tight ends, the duo of Eric Ebron and Vance McDonald, if they were smart, to kind of get targeted early and often. Maybe to get whoever's in the slot getting some work in. The Eagles obviously have a pretty good corner in Darius Slay, but like I said, their second best corner, Avonte Maddox, is out, which means there's some shuffling in that backfield involving the safeties and other corners and whatnot. But whoever Slay covers, I don't know if they're going to have him track one guy or be in one spot, but the other people should get a chance to eat. That's something that's kind of been a trend with the Steelers wide receiver room this year. We got 4 more than capable young guys who are all hungry for targets working against each other. So if they choose to shut down Juju with Darius Slay, that means the other kids get a chance to go against some, more younger, inexperienced corners, some guys who definitely aren't as good as Darius Slay is. So look for some of those guys to eat. I think one of their safeties had to move in to play corner because of Maddox being out, and someone else is trying to play safety now. So look for maybe Chase Claypool to get involved, maybe try some deep passes, try to burn that secondary. Their defense, like I said, it's pretty much that front four, and then everything else is kind of a mess outside of Darius Slay. So hopefully that means the Steelers offense can take advantage. I'd love for the offense to really get cooking this game, put up a bunch of points. I think it will be pretty close, though, just pair that with the fact the Steelers had an unexpected bye week. I feel like it took some of the wind out from under their wings, in a sense, if you know what I mean. Kind of hurt them a little bit there. But I do think they'll be motivated and hungry to come out and get a big win here. So I have the Steelers winning. If I'm doing a prediction, I'm going to be nice to the Eagles again. I've been really conservative with my picks. I'm going to go, let's see, what should we do? 28-20, I guess. So that'd cover the spread, technically, if you wanted my opinion on that. But I feel like, I don't know. We'll have to see. This Eagles team's kind of been back and forth. We could, dominate them or it could be close again. We haven't really had a completely dominating performance yet. It'd be beautiful. We could put that together this week and do one, kind of what we did to the Panthers on Thursday night a couple of years ago. But I have a feeling it'll probably be closer than most people think it would be, just because it's kind of what Pittsburgh does. We kind of love to play down to opponents and make every game as stressful as possible, because they just love affecting me. I swear, if I want to get a heart rate monitor just so I can see how much it spikes during some of these games, man. Definitely stressful. It's a roller coaster of emotions. I'm sure you all get that. But yeah, guys, all right. Sorry, this is more of a rambling one. Not as much detail as some of the other ones, but I'm trying to get this out quick enough so people can still at least watch it before the game actually happens tomorrow afternoon. So thank you so much for watching. That was my prediction. Steelers 28, Eagles 20. Could be a bigger game than that. I think there is potential. If the Steelers do everything right, they do what they're supposed to do, this is a team they should be able to beat big. Look for that to take effect here. I guess my impact players of the game are going to be Eric Ebron on the offense, because like I mentioned, those linebackers are not the greatest, and the safeties are young and I believe a little banged up. So I believe these tight ends can really get it going today, and Ebron is obviously the better passing threat compared to Vance McDonald. So he's my X factor on the Steelers offense. On the Eagles defense, I think you have to, if you're not going with a guy on the defensive line, you could honestly say the X factor is just the defensive line, mainly, Graham and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name. Give me a sec. Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. One of those guys is probably gonna get some good pressure in there. And Benz might have to work a little bit under pressure tomorrow, and kind of get used to that. I think it's gonna be a big test for Big Ben. He hasn't really been hit a lot so far, but we'll see how he kind of performs under this pressure. For the offense of the Eagles, I think their X factor has to be Zach Ertz. I mean, he's a very good tight end, but from what I've heard, he hasn't looked great as of late. Obviously, you could say Carson Wentz too, because he needs to pick his game up a bit. He looked pretty good against the Eagles. Still some turnover stuff and missed throws. So obviously the quarterbacks are kind of obvious, but I'm trying to look a little deeper than that. And the Steelers have a history of not being great against tight ends. There's plenty of times where if you scheme right, it's going to end up with our, Vince Williams, our mainly run-stuffing middle linebacker trying to cover a guy like Zach Ertz, which could prove disastrous for the Steelers team. So Zach Ertz is my X factor on that. Eagles offense. And so my X factor on this defense, I'm mixing up a little bit. Obviously, your edge rushers and stuff are going to be really important in this game. We need to take advantage of that kind of battered up Eagles O-line and get the Wentz as much as possible. Wentz likes to hold on to the ball from everything I've heard and seen. So if we can get to him, we can maybe force some fumbles, get some picks. Just constant pressure is what this defense needs to produce. But looking a little beyond that, I already mentioned that their tight ends and their X factor for me. So I think Devin Bush has to be the X factor for me on that Steelers defense. That middle of the field is going to be really important because if we get a pass rush, that means we're going to probably do these quicker passes, especially with the kind of what they're working with. So there might be a lot of middle of the field stuff, try to take advantage of our linebacking unit. And so I think that's where Devin Bush kind of needs to step it up and do good in coverage, especially since knowing our defense, there might be a couple times where he's going to have to try to cover guys like Zach Ertz, which will be a tough task for sure. So, yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know how you think this game's going to go. Put your score predictions down below if you agree or disagree with me. Should be a fun game, the Battle of the Keystone State. Really pulling for the Steelers to get this one down. Let's go 4-0, baby, right? Stairway to 7, hopefully. Like I said, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. Make sure you click up here for the playlist on my Steelers previews. Over here, you can click the subscribe, which would mean a lot to me. I'm trying to reach 200 subscribers at some point. I believe I'm at 129. It'd mean a lot if I could at least hit 130 after this video. That'd be great. Thank you so much. And over here is just a random video of mine that YouTube has recommended for you. Stay tuned for my post-game reactions to this game as well as the Notre Dame game that's going to be happening the night I'm recording this. I do pre-game videos and post-game reactions for all Notre Dame and Steelers games as well as some various other sports content. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe like I said. This is K.M.A. Preston signing out. Go Steelers.